Okay, so I'm never really good at official starts. Hey, so welcome back to my channel.
Hi.
And today I thought we could have just a really laid back, chill conversation about body positivity. And the reason I wanted to talk about it was because I feel like I'm reading so much about it, and I feel like I have so many conflicting feelings on what it is and shouldn't be. That I don't know, I just wanted to like actually chat with like a group of people. Plus I think I still have some guilt around having had weight loss surgery. Not guilt, but like, you know, the guilt of whether or not like, am I not supporting like the broader plus size curvy community? At the bottom line is I think I'm always going to be plus size and curvy, so like spoiler alert. But at the same time it's like, you know, I see and read so much about like how even like the mention of dieting or losing weight or being healthy is like feeding into society's, you know, standards. Anyway, getting ahead of ourselves. So I'm joined today by Allie, who also has a YouTube channel. Is it under
Allie of the Day?
Allie of the Day. Yeah, and so I will link that below so you can go check out her videos as well. She's responsible for today's makeup. And we shot a video for her channel with that. And Ravina,
I have no YouTube channel.
She has no YouTube channel.
Thank God.
But
she's got an Instagram.
If she has something linkable and you want to see a boomerang of her in this like these glorious onesies,
let's talk about these.
Yes, they're
then
awesome.
Yeah.
LS USA. Just saying.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
No, but they could. So yeah, I invited two friends to join me and have this conversation because I didn't want yet another video of me talking to myself into the camera. Yeah. So I feel like I'm going to start off with a question that I've heard a lot on one of the food site podcasts that I listen to off and on. I've been doing exposure therapy with myself, exposing myself to a wide variety of like talks and images and everything on like body image so that I can, I don't know, really confuse myself basically. No, but it's like what was your relationship with food growing up or your body? She asks all of her guests on the podcast this question, and it's really interesting to hear like how so many people had like a really complicated issue with food, and in particular I'm always interested in the role people's parents play and whether or not they dieted as a child. So many people had such like harsh parents, and so it's really kind of like made me reflect on kind of like my upbringing. I feel I had a really solid, good upbringing, and so I feel like when my mom treaded, and my grandmother treaded both sides of the lines, because definitely we were a dieting household. Like people were always on diets. I was always on a diet. Like I was encouraged to diet, but it was like a group thing. It wasn't like, Serena, you need to lose weight.
You support each other.
But it was like, but it was like, we're all big people, overweight people. Let's do this fad diet. Like I did a number of fad diets from like probably elementary school on. But it was also never like, but while we were always on diets, it was always at the same time, like my mom and my grandmother were always like, you're amazing, you're gorgeous, you can do anything. It was never like, you're not good enough.
Right.
It was just like this thing that we did. And so it's like, I definitely was indoctrinated into like dieting and weight loss at a young age. At the same time, I feel like I didn't have the same emotional baggage that other people have. I mean, I probably had a little bit of that from like outside, like culture. You know, I definitely remember kids at school, like sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't have the same level of trauma, I don't feel like anyway, that a lot of people bring into it. So I did have like, I guess I did always view food though from a dieting perspective. Like good food and bad food.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like, I didn't grow up in a dieting household. I don't, my mom has like willpower. So if my mother said she was gonna lose a few pounds, she would lose a few pounds. It wouldn't be a thing. But it was never like, oh, Ravina, now my grandmother was another story. Like if I would go around my grandmother, she was like, Ravina, you're such a pretty girl.
Now I did hear that a couple times.
She lose maybe a few pounds and then whatever, okay, move on. But
it's fucked up though how we do that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But it was never, I was never told like, oh, you should lose some weight, or you're fat, or, you know, things like that. My mom was very much, if she like, love your body. Like, I grew up in a very, like Serena knows this, I grew up in a very household that was very proud of your body, where walking around, and not in your skivvies like with men around, but just in your skivvies. I grew up in a household full of women up until a certain point. It's just, that's your body, you know. It wasn't, I don't feel any shame of the size of my body and what it looks like and things like that. Yeah, do I feel like I need to lose some weight sometimes? Yeah, and I would go talk to my mom. She's like, okay, well, we'll go on a diet. I never felt like that idea about like what I need to do with my body in order to, like, even in school where kids can be cruel. I don't know if it was just where I grew up, or because all the kids I knew, my mom either knew their parents or went to high school with their parents, or I don't know if it was just that atmosphere, but it was like, yeah, you get the occasional kid who tease you for being fat, but for the most part we were all kind of chunky. Not all of us, but there were enough of us who were kind of heavy set that was like, it wasn't a thing. I did have, my friends in high school were very small and kind of petite and skinny, but there were a few of us who just, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't someone who, that was not the thing they teased you about.
Yeah, I had kind of the opposite. Growing up, I had an awesome childhood with my parents. We never really talked about dieting. We ate, you know, moderate meals, blah, blah, blah. Middle school hit, and that's the first time that I think I realized that I was, like, bigger than other people. I went to a small school on a military base, so I was probably the one of the bigger kids in my class, and middle school's hard, you know, and people tease you about it. And I think that's the first time I started thinking, you know, oh, I'm a little bigger, and then finding clothes at a small, like, place to fit
I can't even imagine being like a military base in a foreign country.
I had a complex early on, and it just kind of continued, but I would try, mom would support me, you know, we'd go on our little diet stuff, but again, like, it's the same thing. You'd get bored of it and then go back to something stressful would happen and you'd go right back to where you were.
Right.
And then I just, I kept active. So I was never like, I didn't feel like I was like really big, and I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I never, like, until people pointed out, I never thought that I was any different from anyone else, you know, or that I didn't look different. It took other people, like, oh, you know, making fun of me, and I think that impacted me from middle school and high school into my adult age, you know, and it gave me a complex. But not enough for me to do anything about it until, like, I had to have back surgery, you know, and that's, you know, it takes, like, a turning point to figure out, well, do I want to do something about it? Am I happy with my body? Am I happy with the way I am? And I think now in my 30s, I'm really happy with who I am. You know, I take it day by day. I'm getting ahead of myself. My relationship with food
good.
was fine.
Yeah. But it is interesting, though, that, like, and I do kind of agree with the idea that it really is, like, society has created this, like, fat phobia. And this, you know, I mean, it, like, and that is what gives people complex. And it's, you know, and it's not just fat phobia, it's society's, our ability as humans to pinpoint what may be different or slightly different about someone and use that as, like, a leverage to, like,
and I feel like the more overt the physical differences between one group of people and another, the one thing, like, because it was always, if someone were ever going to tease me about something when I was growing up, it would say, you're fat, and I'm like, yes, but, like, now I see the little, it's not a meme, it's like a thing, it says, honey, no, you're thinner than me, not prettier than me. It's like, it just, like, you know, if all you have to say about me is that I'm fat,
right? Yeah, but you are raised, like, you're not raised, but, like, we are, it, like, gets ingrained in us a small time that, like, that actually is, like, a cut down, and it's, like, really why? You know, like actually examining, like, getting to, like, the root cause of why it bugs you, like, that's just fucked up.
I remember one time I came home, someone said something to me, and I came home and I was crying, and I asked Mom, and she's like, well, what happened? I said, well, they called me fat, and she's like, so? And I was like, It's just like, so what, you're fat? She's
like,
you're smart. She's like, you're probably smarter than them. And I thought about it for a bit, and I was like, right, so what of them? Whatever. And so it was sort of like, that was sort of like a turning point. Like, I never worried about, like, I was concerned about my weight if it meant I couldn't do something. Like, I can't run around track. I hate running. It makes my boobs flop. It's just horrible. It's just, no, not gonna be me. But if there was something I really wanted to do and I couldn't do it and it was because I was fat, then I would be like, okay, well, maybe I need to lose some weight so I can do X. But after having that conversation with my mom, and it was really brief, it wasn't like a sit down and my mom was all about sit down conversations, and she still is, honestly, but it wasn't like sit down and let's do this thing and we'll take this apart and it's like an after school special where, you know, what lesson have we learned at the end of this, Jimmy? No, it was just like, so what? So she called you fat, so?
But like, it does make me incredibly annoyed at little kids when you hear little kids go, you're fat, either to me or to like somebody else, because I'm like, and the parents are, I'm like, this is where you stop shit like this. That little kid got that from somewhere. He wasn't born and automatically thought, you know, and some kids point it out just because they're pointing out a characteristic. They're not making fun of someone when they're that little, like 2 and 3. But at the same time, I'm like, where did they learn that word? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, no, that's fucked up.
And the parents are like, kids learn all this stuff from their parents.
And it's out of the parents' insecurity too. They like to, and that's what I've noticed a lot with people that like make fun of others. It's a self-conscious thing. They want to make themselves feel better by bringing other people down, and that's really not what what I'm about. It doesn't make me feel good, and I don't think it makes them feel good at the end of the day. You know? It does nothing to make fun of someone else.
In the past, I don't know a few years, I feel like there's been like a growing movement of education and kind of trying to teach acceptance around all different types of body types and body shapes. And you know, it definitely it's like the body positive movement. There are these two groups pitted against each other because, you know, there's definitely a group of body positive people, and this is where I feel like kind of left out in the middle. Like, I'm not gonna fit in with like the skinny health conscious people, and I'm not going to fit in with the body size, you know, embrace your body at any size people, because they're like, yeah, but you can't be body positive if you diet or try to lose weight or use any of that verbiage. And so that's what brought up my whole conversation about like, well, then what does body positive mean to you? Because in my mind, body positive means I can do whatever I want for me. Like, I'm not foisting that decision on anybody else. But like, my decision to have surgery and lose weight, I'm not gonna lie, like, part of it was entirely probably rooted in the fact that I wanted to better fit in to culture and society, you know, and that was a small part of it, you know, but the bigger part that honestly like pushed me over the edge, because I've always been like, I have my moments where I'm like, oh, I'm fat, you know, but like in general through most of my life, I'm like, fuck that, I'm happy, I do what I want, I go where I want. But it was when like my weight was affecting my ability to do what I want and go where I want. Like, I was physically challenged in a way that I'd never been challenged before. And so
no, I agree. I think body positivity is a very personal thing, and it's about you feeling good about yourself, whether or not you want to lose weight or if you're happy, you know, the size you are. It's a very personal thing. Like, I have body issues. I have issues with the way I look, and it used to be really bad, and now I'm starting to feel better about myself. And I think it's also because this movement has kind of embraced figures. Like, growing up, it was hard for me to find clothes that fit because of where I lived, and the kind of clothes for plus sizes were awful. The big, like, muumuus or
grandma type stuff.
Grandma stuff. And so in high school and in college, it was hard. In high school, I had one shirt in 10th grade that I would wear all the time because it was the one that I thought was in style and it fit me, and it was the only one that could. And then people would make fun, oh, you're wearing that shirt again. Like, I can't win. You know, I find something that fits me and then I wear it all the time. But now there's so many clothes that fit me, and I'm so big on fashion. Like, that's kind of made me love my body more. Like, I'd love to lose more weight as a personal thing, because like 5 or 7 years ago I had back surgery, and when I woke up from it, the doctor was like, you need to lose weight, you're not healthy. Like, if you don't lose weight, this is gonna get worse again. And it took that, like, I needed to do something about my life because it was preventing me from doing the things I wanted to do. So that was a personal choice for me to want to lose weight. But I don't want to be like a size 8. I don't want to, you know, have to watch every single thing that I put in my mouth, because that's not healthy. That's not healthy to me, you know? So that's kind of where I'm coming from. You know, I just think it's very, very personal. It's to each their own, and we should embrace other people going on their own journey because it's their journey, you know? You could be a part of someone's transformation or part of, you know, their support system, but it's their decision, it's their journey, it's what they want to do, and we can be supportive of it, you know, bring people up instead of dragging them down.
When I think about like how I'm affected by body positivity, like I look at my Instagram feed as sort of like a mix of plus size models and people like Ashley Graham and all of those girls, and a mix.
Awesome, I love Ashley Graham.
Yeah, like, it's like a mix of Ashley Graham and models and stuff like that, and plus size models and stuff like that, and you know, black women losing weight and stuff like that, and all these sort of before and after pictures of people who've lost weight. I mean, I've gone, my weight has gone up and down, and since I've lived up here, and it's like you do the whole thing where you've gained XYZ numbers, and sometimes I stand, I'm like, oh, I should lose some weight. But then I think about the stuff I do, and I was like, I'm not physically challenged to lose weight. I haven't had like a turning point. Like I don't want to have that sort of like shock to my system where it's like, okay, you have to lose weight or you're going to die. I don't want that sort of shock. I'm perfectly happy. I can walk. I can go trail hiking. I can do the things that I
well, and I do believe in that. And that the counterpoint to that is too, like, health at every size.
Yeah.
Like, your weight doesn't dictate how healthy or unhealthy you are. Yeah. It can. Like, again, it did affect my mobility.
Yeah.
But just because you're bigger than what, you know, the doctors or whatever deem acceptable doesn't mean you're not healthy.
Yeah, because I went to physical therapy. I've been going to physical therapy for my knee, and they look at your weight and everything, and I'm considered obese because of
these old numbers,
the age and the weight and index, whatever, and your gender, which is stupid. And my physical therapist, during our first appointment, she's like, okay, yeah, it says you're obese, but your blood pressure is normal, your blood work is wonderful, like, you're healthy. Like, I wouldn't worry about it. If you had health issues, we'd consider it, but you're active, you're mobile, you're keeping, you know, you're keeping active, it's fine. Like, it's, again, it's personal. Go to the doctor, see what it's like. If you're having health issues, then maybe do something about it, you know? But again, it's up to you. It's your life.
Yeah,
you know?
And I do that is the one sticking point I have, and where, I mean, I understand where the body positive movement, where they're coming from, because I do think, though, doctors are part of the problem, in that if you are overweight, it's almost always, if the doctors, and it's not all doctors, there are good doctors out there, but their gut reaction is to automatically blame everything on being overweight. Oh, you're having this problem because you're fat. Oh, you feel like this because you're fat. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I feel like the automatic judgment of that being the root of all your problems clouds their ability to potentially pursue other things.
I really don't want a doctor telling me anything that's because I'm fat until they look at my blood work and I say, oh, you have high blood pressure, you have this and this and that. Then tell me, okay, it's because you're fat. Do not dare come to me and say, you're fat, and this is what's causing this, when you haven't taken 5 seconds to look at any of the blood work or looked at my blood pressure. If you haven't done any of that, you really have no reason. And that's, honestly, that's being a bad doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your body.
Yeah.
If body positivity, body inclusivity, whatever, it really is, it's about you. How you feel about your body. If you're not comfortable in your body, then you have to either decide, I'm going to make changes so I am comfortable in my body, or I'm going to learn to love this body and maybe seek people who are similarly minded. And for me, that's really just it. Like, if I don't have friends anymore who talk down to me. I've never had friends who talk down to me about my size or my weight or anything like that. I would hope that if my friends saw that I was harming myself by like, okay, Ravina, do you really need to eat 2 dozen donuts? I would hope that someone would.
Where are they from though? Yeah.
Like, well,
that's important.
That you're wolfing those down so quickly. They have to be good. You're not going to share, really?
Yeah.
But you have to surround yourself with people, and I'm of two minds of this. Surrounding yourself with people who are always going to approve of everything you do is not good, but also surrounding yourself with people who are always going to disapprove of what you do, that's also not good either. So maybe a good mixed bag of people who people who are going to put you down are not your friends anyway.
Well, the bottom line is you want people who are going to be supportive, and you can be supportive in all different ways.
Exactly.
You know? And I think for my purpose, it's like in making videos and like talking openly about weight loss, it's trying to make it clear that I'm doing this for me, and it's not a judgment for anything on what anybody else should do.
Yeah, but if you're feeling bad about yourself, if you're like depressed and you feel like you're not worth something, you are. Like it. Oh yeah, that's finding something. Even when you're in your darkest time, finding something that you really like about yourself helps. Or spinning stuff you don't like about yourself into the positive. Like, my hips are the bane of my existence. You grew up hating them, but now as I get older and I dress myself confidently and stuff, it's something that I've gained to love. Like, I like my curves, I like my pear shape. You know, it's finding stuff about you that you really like, you know, and embracing that. And like Ravina said, surrounding yourself with people that build you up and are going to be real to you and not like drag you down or judge you. Or those aren't friends. They're with you for an alternate reason, you know. Maybe they're with you because they want to make themselves feel better. You know, I've had friends like that in the past. Like I've been the fat friend in some groups, and it's evident. Like they don't think of it that way, but you know, maybe reassess who you're hanging out with, and maybe it's time for a change or to do something for yourself. This is I think body positivity can be very selfish in a positive way, because you need to take care of yourself. You need to do what's right for you.
Yeah. And what's the new thing all the kids are talking about? Treat yourself.
Yeah. treat yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
And self-care. That's the new hot catchphrase.
Yeah.
It's all about self-care.
Yeah.
Be
do
about
what makes you happy.
Exactly. Be selfish. David, it's your body. You have to live in it, not them.
No, that is the thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're the body, you're living in it, and
if you don't like looking at me, don't.
The other thing too that I've final thought is don't put your story onto other people.
Yeah.
And you know, people may look at you weird, or but you don't actually know what they're thinking. I have all sorts of weird looks on my face all the time. I have a chronic resting bitch face. I walk around, you know, but I could be entirely in my own head.
Yeah.
Or even like if I'm looking at someone, that doesn't mean I'm judging you in a negative way. Maybe I actually like what you're wearing, or like, you know, and so like trying to be confident enough to be like, it's not all about me.
Right.
Like, you know, and so if someone clearly says something, obviously, but you know, it's like, I'm not gonna, because of my insecurities I have sometime, I'm not gonna put my insecurities on somebody else and, you know, assume that they're like taking a look at me. Anyway, thanks for joining.
I hope this is entertaining.
Yeah. Or, you know, I mean, and I'd love to hear your comments. Definitely leave comments below. Let us know what your thoughts on body positivity are.
But if you're a hater, I will look at those comments. I will comment back. Not pleasantly.
But yeah,
she will.
Yeah, no, she will. Yeah.
I seriously will.
And again, if you've enjoyed the videos, don't forget to subscribe below. Thanks. Bye.